Captain Han Ki-woo stared at the massive space station through the window of his ship. The Galactic Council's main hub was bigger than any city on Earth. Thousands of alien ships moved around it like busy insects. His own vessel, the Soul's Pride, looked tiny next to them. "First time seeing the real thing?" asked Dr. Lee Ji-young. She stood beside him, watching the aliens work. Her job was to study other species and help humans understand them better. "It's bigger than I thought," Han Ki-woo said. "Makes you feel small." The Soul's Pride was Earth's newest diplomatic ship. It had taken 50 years for humans to build something good enough to travel between stars. Even now, their technology was far behind the other species in the galaxy. Ambassador Park Min-ji walked onto the bridge. She looked worried. "The council will see us in 1 hour," she said. "They called this an emergency meeting." That's never good news. Park Min-ji had been Earth's voice in the Galactic Council for 10 years. She knew how the aliens thought. Most of them saw humans as children who had just learned to walk among the stars. The Council protected Earth, but they also made all the important decisions for humanity. Admiral Cho Sun-ho was already in the meeting room when they arrived. He commanded Earth's small space fleet. Only 12 ships, but they were the best humans could build. "Whatever they want to tell us, they're being very serious about it," he said. The council chamber was enormous. Representatives from dozens of alien species sat in floating chairs arranged in circles. At the center sat the Vorthak delegates. The Vorthak ruled the council. They were tall gray creatures with 4 arms and eyes that never seemed to blink. High Counselor Vextar spoke first. His voice came through the translation device as cold and emotionless. "Representatives of the human species, we have called you here to discuss an important matter regarding your home system." Park Min-ji stepped forward. "We are ready to listen, High Counselor." "Recent surveys have discovered large deposits of quantum crystals in your star system," Vextar continued. "These crystals are essential for our expansion into new sectors of the galaxy. The Council has decided that the Sol system must be prepared for mining operations." Han Ki-woo felt his stomach drop. He had heard about quantum crystal mining before. The process was so intense that it made entire star systems unsafe for life. "What does this mean for Earth?" Park Min-ji asked. Her voice stayed calm, but Han Ki-woo could see her hands shaking. Another Vorthak delegate answered. "All human populations will be relocated to suitable worlds. We have identified 3 colony planets that can support your species. The relocation will begin in 6 months." The room fell silent. Dr. Lee Ji-young grabbed Han Ki-woo's arm. "They want us to leave Earth," she whispered. Park Min-ji tried to keep her diplomatic voice. "High Counselor, surely there must be other options. Earth is our homeworld. Our entire species was born there. Perhaps the mining could be done in a way that allows us to stay." Vextar's expression did not change. "The mining process will destabilize your star. The system will become uninhabitable within 50 years. The Council offers 3 excellent worlds for your people. This is more generous than we usually provide to minor species." "Minor species?" Admiral Cho Sun-ho stood up. His face was red with anger. "We are talking about moving 40 billion people." "Admiral, please," Park Min-ji said quietly. But Cho Sun-ho was not finished. "You call this generous? You are asking us to abandon the only world our species has ever known. This is not generosity. This is theft." Several alien delegates made sounds that might have been laughter. One of them, a creature that looked like a giant insect, spoke up. "The humans do not understand their place in the galaxy. They have been spacefaring for only 50 years. The Council has existed for 10,000 years. Vextar raised one of his 4 hands. "The decision has been made. The human delegation has 6 months to organize the evacuation. Mining ships will arrive in the Sol system 1 year from today. Any humans remaining will be relocated by force if necessary." Park Min-ji tried one more time. "High Counselor, we request time to discuss this with our government. Surely some compromise can be reached." "There is nothing to discuss," Vextar said. "The quantum crystals in your system are needed for the greater good of the galaxy. 40 billion humans cannot be allowed to prevent the expansion of our civilization. The 3 colony worlds we offer are rich and beautiful. Your people will be happier there." Dr. Lee Ji-young stepped forward. "With respect, High Counselor, how can you know what will make humans happy? Have you studied our psychology? Our attachment to our birth world runs deeper than you might understand." Vexatar looked at her with what might have been annoyance. "Dr. Lee, your species is young. You will learn to adapt. All species do. The Council has relocated hundreds of minor species over the centuries. They all found new homes, and if we refuse? Admiral Cho Soon-ho asked. The chamber became very quiet. Vextar's eyes focused on the Admiral. That would be unwise. The Council's military consists of over 10,000 ships. Each one could destroy your entire fleet without effort. Earth has 12 ships. The mathematics are simple. Han Ki-woo felt sick. He looked around the chamber at all the alien faces. Some looked bored. Others seemed amused. None of them appeared to care that an entire world was being taken away from its people. The meeting is concluded, Vextar announced. You have 6 months. Use the time wisely. The human delegation walked back to their ship in silence. Once they were alone, Admiral Cho Sun-ho punched the wall. 40 billion people, he said. They want to move 40 billion people like we are farm animals. They see us as children, Dr. Lee Ji-young said. Children who can be told what to do for their own good. Park Min-ji sat down heavily. She looked older than she had that morning. I have to return to Earth and tell our leaders that we have 6 months to evacuate our entire species or face military action. Han Ki-woo stared out at the alien ships around the station. They were sleek and powerful. Each one probably carried weapons that could destroy cities. Earth's small fleet was nothing compared to the military might surrounding them. What will we do? He asked. Nobody answered. They all knew that Earth's government would never agree to leave voluntarily. But they also knew that the Council had the power to force them out. As the Soul's Pride pulled away from the station, Han Ki-woo wondered if he was looking at humanity's future masters. The aliens had given them a choice that was not really a choice at all. Leave Earth willingly or be removed by force. The journey home would take 3 weeks. 3 weeks to figure out how to tell the people of Earth that their world had been sold for mining rights. 3 weeks to prepare for the impossible choice between abandoning their home or fighting a war they could never win. Dr. Lee Ji-young joined him at the window. They made a mistake, she said quietly. What mistake? They think we will roll over and accept this because they are stronger than us. They have never met a species that values its home more than its life. Han Ki-woo looked at her. Are you saying we should fight them? I am saying they do not understand humans as well as they think they do. They see weakness where we see determination. They see fear where we see fury. The stars look different now, less beautiful and more distant. Somewhere among them were 3 worlds that the Council had chosen for humanity. But ahead of them was Earth, the world where every human had ever lived and died. Han Ki-woo realized that Dr. Lee Ji-young was right. The aliens had made a mistake. They had given humanity 6 months to prepare, 6 months to show the galaxy what happened when you threatened a human's home. The Soul's Pride headed toward Earth, carrying news that would change everything. President Nam Tae-hyun sat at his desk in Seoul, reading the report for the 5th time. The words had not changed, but he kept hoping they would. 6 months, 40 billion people. Mining ships coming to destroy their sun. The public reaction has been intense, said General Kim Yuna. She stood near the window, watching protesters in the street below. Half want us to accept the relocation. The other half are calling for war. War against 10,000 alien ships with weapons we cannot even imagine, said President Nam. He had been a military strategist before becoming a politician. He knew what impossible odds looked like. Captain Han Ki-woo entered the room with Ambassador Park Min-ji and Dr. Lee Ji-young. They had been traveling non-stop for 3 weeks, meeting with world leaders and military commanders. What do our allies say? President Nam asked. The same thing everyone says, Park Min-ji replied. Accept the relocation. The Council has never lost a war. They have been ruling the galaxy for 10,000 years. Dr. Lee Ji-young opened her computer. I have been studying the psychology of the Council species, the Vorthak in particular. They have never faced real resistance from a minor species. When they give orders, other races obey. Because the other races are smart enough not to fight a battle they cannot win, General Kim said. Maybe, Dr. Lee replied. Or maybe they just never cared enough about anything to fight for it. Commander Odewan walked into the room. He had been working on secret defense projects for the past 10 years. Most people did not know he existed. Sir, I need to show you something. He activated a holographic display. It showed Earth's solar system with dozens of red dots scattered around it. These are the defensive platforms we have been building in secret. Not powerful enough to stop the Council fleet, but enough to make them pay a price. President Nam studied the display. How big a price? Maybe a few hundred ships. Maybe more if we get lucky. Out of 10,000. They will barely notice the losses, Commander O smiled. That depends on what we do with the time those platforms buy us. Dr. Bay Hiram entered the meeting. She was young, barely 30, but she understood alien technology better than anyone else on Earth. I have been working on something, she said. The Council ships use quantum shields that can stop any known weapon. But I think I found a weakness. She showed them recordings from the Council's demonstration battles. Their shields work by bending space around the ship. But they cannot bend space and fire weapons at the same time. There is a split second when they are vulnerable. A split second is not enough time to target and fire, General Kim said. It is if you are already firing when the window opens, Bai Hiram replied. I have designed quantum torpedoes that can wait in space invisible until a Council ship drops its shields to attack. President Nam looked around the room. So we have defensive platforms, secret weapons, and maybe a way to hurt their ships, against 10,000 vessels that outclass anything we have ever built. There is one more thing, said Commander O. The Council has never fought humans before. They do not know how we think or how we fight. That advantage will not last long, Park Minji said. Once the shooting starts, they will learn. Then we better make sure the first shots count, said Dr. Lee Ji-young. President Nam stood up and walked to the window. Below, the protests continued. Some people held signs calling for peace. Others demanded war. All of them looked to him for answers he did not have. If we fight, millions will die, he said. Maybe billions. The Council will eventually win through sheer numbers. If we leave, our species dies anyway, said Dr. Lee. Maybe not physically, but spiritually. We will become refugees forever, living on alien worlds dependent on alien charity. General Kim joined him at the window. There is a third option, which is, we make the cost so high that they decide it is not worth it. President Nam turned to look at her. You think we can make the Council back down? I think we can make them think twice. The Vorthak are practical creatures. If taking Earth costs them more than the crystals are worth, they might look elsewhere. Commander O activated another display. This one showed the entire galaxy. The Council controls thousands of systems. Earth is just one small planet to them, but it is everything to us. That difference in how much we care might be our greatest weapon, said Dr. Lee. President Nam made his decision. Commander O, you have 3 months to prepare every defense we have. Dr. Bay, you have the same amount of time to build as many quantum torpedoes as possible. General Kim, start training every person who can hold a weapon. And if the Council sends their demonstration force early, asked Park Minji, then we show them what happens when you threaten a human's home. 2 weeks later, President Nam stood before the cameras of every news network on Earth. Behind him was a simple blue flag with Earth's symbol. His speech would be broadcast across the galaxy on every Council communication channel. People of Earth and members of the Galactic Council who are watching this broadcast. Today I speak not just as the President of Earth, but as a representative of the human spirit. He paused, looking directly into the camera. The Galactic Council has given us 6 months to abandon our homeworld. They offer us 3 colony planets in exchange for the world where our entire species was born. They call this generous. We call it theft. President Nam's voice grew stronger. For 50 years we have been good members of the Council. We have followed their rules. We have accepted their protection. We have tried to learn our place in the galaxy. But there is one thing the Council does not understand about humans. We do not abandon our home. We do not surrender our birthright. We do not bow to threats, no matter how powerful the enemy. The President stepped closer to the camera. So this is our message to the Galactic Council. We have tried diplomacy. We have offered compromise. But there is a line you cannot cross, and that line is our home. His voice became hard as steel. Cross this line and face humanity's fury. This is your last warning. The broadcast ended. Within hours, the Council's response came back. High Counselor Vexter appeared on every screen, his forearms folded, his expression showing what might have been amusement. The humans have chosen to be difficult. Very well. A demonstration force of 3 ships will arrive in the Sol system in 2 weeks. They will show the humans why resistance is foolish. General Kim watched the broadcast with her staff. 3 ships, she said. They are not even taking us seriously. Good, said Commander O. Let them underestimate us. It will make the surprise more effective. Dr. Bay Hiram was working 18 hours a day in her laboratory. How many quantum torpedoes do we have ready? Asked her assistant. 50, she replied. Each one can penetrate council shields if we time it right. Will 50 be enough? Hiram looked at the data from the council ships. Each one was the size of a small city, packed with weapons and shields. It will have to be. Across Earth, people prepared for war in their own ways. Some built shelters. Others volunteered for the military. Children learned to recognize the sound of air raid sirens. But something else was happening too. People who had never agreed on anything were coming together. Rich and poor, young and old, people from every nation and culture united by one simple idea. This was their world, and no one was going to take it from them. Captain Han Ki-woo was promoted to admiral and given command of Earth's entire space fleet. 12 ships against 3 council vessels. The odds were terrible, but they were better than 12 ships against 10,000. Do you think we can win? Asked his second-in-command. Han Ki-woo looked at the tactical displays showing Earth's defenses. Secret platforms, hidden weapons, and 50 quantum torpedoes that might or might not work against alien shields. I think we can show them that humans do not give up easily, he said. The demonstration force was already on its way. 3 massive council ships, each one powerful enough to destroy Earth's entire fleet without taking damage. They were coming to teach humanity a lesson about the price of defiance. But humanity was ready to teach them a lesson too. A lesson about what happened when you threatened a species that valued its home more than its life. The war was about to begin. The 3 council ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. They were massive, each one stretching over 2 kilometers long. Their hulls gleamed with the blue light of quantum shields. To the aliens inside, this was routine work. Show the humans their power, accept their surrender, and return home. Admiral Han Ki-woo watched them arrive from the bridge of his flagship. Earth's 12 ships looked like toys compared to the alien vessels. But hidden throughout the solar system were the weapons Commander O had spent months preparing. They are scanning the system, reported his communication officer. Standard procedure before beginning an attack. Let them scan, said Han Ki-woo. They will see exactly what we want them to see. The lead council ship was commanded by war leader Graxith of the Vorthak military. He had fought in dozens of campaigns against minor species. None had ever lasted more than a few hours. The humans have positioned their fleet near their homeworld, reported his tactical officer. 12 primitive vessels. They appeared to be preparing for battle. Graxith made a sound that was the Vorthak equivalent of laughter. They actually plan to fight us, how refreshing. Most species simply surrender when they see our ships. Should we offer them one final chance to submit? Asked his second-in-command. No, they have already refused the Council's generous offer. It is time they learned the cost of defiance. Captain Ryu Jinhwan floated in space inside a ship so small it barely registered on sensors. Around him, 19 other pilots waited in similar craft. They had been drifting near the asteroid belt for 2 weeks, their ships powered down to almost nothing. Contacts are moving toward Earth, came the whispered message through his earpiece. Beginning their attack run, Ryu Jinhwan smiled. The aliens were about to learn their first lesson about fighting humans. What you could not see could still kill you. The Council ships moved through the solar system like sharks through water. Their weapons began charging. The plan was simple. Destroy Earth's pathetic fleet, then destroy several cities to show the humans the futility of resistance. Incoming transmission from the human fleet, reported the communication officer. Put it through, ordered Graxith. Admiral Han Ki-woo's face appeared on the screen. Behind him, the bridge of his ship was clearly visible. It looked primitive compared to Council technology. This is Admiral Han Ki-woo of the Earth Defense Fleet. You are ordered to leave this system immediately. Graxith stood up, his forearms spread wide. Admiral, you command 12 ships against 3. Each of our vessels could destroy your entire fleet without effort. Surrender now and your death will be quick. You misunderstand, said Han Ki-woo. I am not asking you to leave because I fear you. I am ordering you to leave because you have crossed the line. What line? The line that marks where our patience ends and our fury begins. The transmission ended. Graxith stared at the blank screen for a moment. The human actually believes he can threaten us. Fire all weapons. Destroy their flagship first. The lead council ship's massive guns swiveled toward Han Ki-woo's vessel. For a split second, the quantum shields flickered as the ship prepared to fire. In that instant, 50 quantum torpedoes that had been drifting invisible in space suddenly activated. Dr. Bay Hiram's weapons struck all 3 council ships at the same moment their shields were down. The explosions lit up the solar system like new stars. "Impossible," shouted Graxith as his ship shook from multiple impacts. "Our sensors showed no weapons." "Damage report," demanded his tactical officer. "Shields down to 40%. Hull breaches on decks 7 through 12. How did they do this?" Before anyone could answer, 20 small ships appeared from the asteroid belt. They were moving so fast they were almost impossible to target. Captain Ryu Jinhuan led the attack, his tiny vessel dodging between the massive council ships like a mosquito around sleeping. "Giants, deploy boarding pods," he ordered his squadron. The council ships were still reeling from the torpedo. Attack when dozens of small pods attached to their hulls like parasites. Inside each pod were 10 human soldiers led by Lieutenant Colonel Shin Yunji. "Cutting through the hull now," she reported as her team's plasma torches burned through alien metal, entering their ship in 30 seconds. Graxith could not believe what he was seeing. "They are actually boarding us. How do they expect to fight us inside our own ship?" He was about to learn something no other council species had ever discovered. Humans were very, very good at close combat. AT, Colonel Shin Yunji and her team broke through into a council corridor. The aliens inside were tall and powerful, but they had never fought an enemy face to face. Their battles were fought with computers and energy weapons at long distance. The humans carried simple kinetic rifles and moved like predators through the alien ship. Every corridor became a battlefield. Every room became a trap. "They fight like wild animals," one of the surviving Vorthak soldiers reported. "They use tactics we have never seen. They seem to know exactly where to hit us." Dr. Lee Ji-young had spent months studying alien anatomy. She knew that Vorthak had a nerve cluster just behind their third arm that would paralyze them if struck correctly. Her research was now being put to deadly use. Engineer Park Dong-hyuk was having the time of his life. While the soldiers fought through the ship, he had plugged into the council computer systems. Alien technology was advanced, but it was also predictable. The council races thought in orderly, logical ways. Humans thought like chaos. "Uploading virus package now," he reported as his fingers flew over the alien keyboard. "Their security systems cannot handle random code. It is like they have never seen a computer virus before." Within minutes, the council ship's own weapons were turning on its sister vessels. The aliens watched in horror as their computers began displaying messages in human languages. "Error 404. Your superiority not found. System failure, arrogance overload. Please restart your empire and try again." "What is happening?" demanded Graxith. "The humans have taken control of our ship," replied his communication officer. "They are using our own weapons against the other vessels." On the second council ship, War Leader Kenth was having similar problems. Human boarding teams had cut through his defenses like they were made of paper. His crew was fighting desperately, but the humans seemed to be everywhere at once. "How many of them are there?" he asked. "Only 200 humans on all 3 ships," came the reply. "But they are fighting like 2,000. The truth was simpler and more terrifying. Humans had been fighting each other for thousands of years. They had learned every dirty trick, every unexpected tactic, every way to turn weakness into strength. The council races had forgotten how to fight because they had been winning for so long. Captain Ryu Jinwan's squadron was still attacking from outside. Their small ships were too fast for the council's big guns to hit. They darted in and out, striking weak points that Dr. Bay had identified from her study of alien ships. "Their armor is strong, but their sensor arrays are vulnerable," she had told them. "Blind them first, then they cannot fight back effectively." One by one, the great council ships were losing their eyes and ears. Their weapons fell silent as they lost the ability to target the human fighters. Admiral Han Ki-woo watched the battle from his flagship. Earth's 12 ships had not fired a single shot yet. They did not need to. The aliens were being defeated by weapons they had never imagined facing. "Status report," he requested. "First council ship is completely under our control," came Lieutenant Colonel Shin's voice through the radio. "Second ship has lost primary power. Third ship is requesting permission to surrender." "Surrender?" Han Ki-woo was surprised. "The mighty council wants to surrender?" "Admiral," came Engineer Park's voice from inside the alien ship. "You need to see what I found in their computer files." The data appeared on Han Ki-woo's screen. It showed the true size of the Council military. 10,000 ships, just as they had claimed. But it also showed something else, the location of every ship, every base, every weakness in their entire empire. They kept detailed records of everything, Park explained, including their own weaknesses. I now have the complete military database of the Galactic Council. War leader Graxith sat in his command chair, watching human soldiers guard his bridge. His mighty ship was now under enemy control. In 30 years of military service, he had never imagined such a thing was possible. How? He asked Lieutenant Colonel Shin. How did you do this? She looked at him with something that might have been pity. We did what we always do when someone threatens our home. We fought back, but we are superior to you in every way. Our technology, our weapons, our ships. Your ships are designed to fight other ships, Gun, she replied. Your weapons are made to destroy targets at long range. Your technology assumes your enemy will fight the same way you do. And humans do not fight that way. Humans fight to win. We use whatever works, no matter how crude or primitive it might seem. The third Council ship finally surrendered when human fighters disabled its main reactor. 3 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy had been completely defeated by a species the Council considered barely above animals. As news of the battle spread across the galaxy, other species began to whisper. The humans had done the impossible. They had fought the Council and won, but this was only the beginning. High Counselor Vextar stared at the report in disbelief. 3 of his best ships destroyed. Not damaged, not captured, but completely taken over by a species that barely had space travel 50 years ago. How long until the core fleet reaches the human system? He asked his military advisor. 6 months, High Counselor. War Master Grexval is bringing 800 ships, the largest battle fleet ever assembled. Good. This human problem ends now. But 6 months was exactly what humanity needed. Fleet Admiral Yoon Subin walked through the hidden shipyards built inside hollow asteroids throughout the solar system. The work never stopped. Thousands of human ships were taking shape, each one built with lessons learned from captured Council technology. How many ships will be ready when they arrive? Asked President Nam Taehyun during his daily briefing. 3,000, replied Admiral Yoon, each one smaller than a Council vessel, but faster and more heavily armed than anything we had before. Dr. Song Kyung-min entered the meeting room, her face bright with excitement. The quantum communication network is ready. Every ship will be connected to every other ship instantly, no matter how far apart they are. What does that mean in practical terms? Asked the President. It means our fleet will think and act as one mind. The Council ships still use old-style radio communication. They cannot coordinate like we can. Captain Lim Jae-hyung commanded the first of humanity's new carrier groups. Unlike the massive Council ships that fought alone, human vessels worked together like a pack of wolves. Show me the fighter deployment, he ordered. The holographic display showed hundreds of tiny ships launching from 5 carrier vessels. Each fighter was barely larger than an old Earth jet plane, but they carried quantum torpedoes and could move faster than anything the Council had ever seen. The Council expects us to fight like them, explained his tactical officer. Big ships shooting at big ships from long range. They will not know how to handle thousands of small targets attacking from every direction. Operative Choi Sulgi was not in the solar system when the preparations began. She was on the other side of the galaxy, visiting worlds under Council control. Her job was much more dangerous than building ships or training pilots. Her job was starting a revolution. The Council has ruled your people for 3,000 years, she told a gathering of Zilani rebels on their hidden moon base. They take your resources, your children, your freedom. But humanity has shown that the Council can be defeated. The Zilani looked like large insects, but they thought more like humans than like the Council races. They understood concepts like freedom and independence that the Vorthak considered primitive emotions. You really defeated 3 Council ships? Asked their leader. We did more than defeat them, Choi Solgi replied. We captured them and learned all their secrets. The mighty Council is not as strong as they pretend to be. She activated a small device that projected the complete Council military database. Every ship location, every base, every weakness. We are sharing this information with every species that wants to be free. Similar meetings were happening on dozens of worlds. Humanity's intelligence network had spent months contacting oppressed species, slave races, and forgotten colonies. The message was always the same. The Council could be beaten. War Master Grexval commanded the largest fleet in Council history. 800 massive ships, each one more powerful than the 3 vessels the humans had captured. He was confident this would be the shortest war in galactic history. The humans got lucky once, he told his officers. They used surprise and primitive tactics. This time we are prepared for their tricks. But as his fleet approached the Sol system, strange reports began reaching him from across the galaxy. Rebellions on 17 worlds. Council garrisons under attack. Supply convoys missing. How is this possible? He demanded. These species have been peaceful for centuries. The humans seem to have shared intelligence with them, replied his communication officer. Every rebel group knows exactly where to strike for maximum damage. No matter. We will destroy the humans quickly, then deal with these minor uprisings. Dr. Song Kyungmin monitored the quantum communication network from Earth's command center. 3,000 human ships were positioned throughout the solar system, but they were connected as if they were one giant ship with 3,000 engines. Enemy fleet entering the outer system, she reported. 800 ships in standard council formation. Fleet Admiral Yoon Subin smiled. Standard formation meant the council ships were spread out in a line, each one protecting the others. It was a formation designed for fighting other council fleets. It was completely wrong for fighting humans. Implement swarm protocol, she ordered. Across the solar system, 3,000 human ships began moving at once. They did not form lines or maintain formation. Instead, they moved like a cloud of angry bees toward the council fleet. War Master Grexval watched his sensors with growing confusion. What are they doing? Their ships are scattering in all directions. It appears to be random movement, War Master. Random? Grexval had fought many battles, but he had never seen anything like this. Ships do not move randomly. There must be a pattern. There was a pattern, but it was unlike anything the Council had ever encountered. The human ships moved like a living organism, each one knowing exactly where every other ship was at all times. They flowed around the Council formation like water around rocks. Captain Lim Jae-hyung's carrier group released its fighters when the Council fleet was still an hour away. 2,000 tiny ships spread out across millions of kilometers of space, each one invisible to Council sensors until it was too late. Begin attack run, he ordered. The fighters struck like lightning. They came from every direction at once, too fast and too small for the Council's big guns to track. Each one fired its quantum torpedoes and darted away before the aliens could respond. We are under attack, reported Grexval's tactical officer. Hundreds of small craft firing on us from all angles. Impossible. Our sensors show nothing. The attacks are real, War Master. We have lost 16 ships already. Grexval could not understand what was happening. His fleet was being torn apart by enemies he could not see using weapons. That should not exist. But the real surprise came when the main human fleet arrived. Fleet Admiral Yoon Subin's 3,000 ships did not attack the Council formation head-on. Instead, they surrounded it like a sphere, with the alien ships trapped in the center. Every human vessel could fire on every Council ship, but the aliens could only shoot in one direction at a time. This is impossible, muttered Grexval. How can their ships coordinate like this? His communication officer looked terrified. War Master, they are not using radio communications. Their orders are arriving instantly across their entire fleet. It is as if they share one mind. The battle became a massacre. Council ships were designed to fight one-on-one duels with other large vessels. They could not handle being attacked by dozens of smaller, faster ships from every direction at once. Human tactics were brutal and efficient. When a Council ship tried to target one human vessel, 10 others would attack it from behind. When the aliens tried to form defensive positions, the humans simply flowed around them like water. Request immediate reinforcements, ordered Grexval as another of his ships exploded. There are no reinforcements, War Master. The other fleets are dealing with rebellions across the galaxy. Rebellions? 43 systems have declared independence. They are using information provided by the humans to attack our bases and supply lines. Grexval realized with growing horror that this was not just a battle for one system. This was a war for control of the entire galaxy, and the humans had been planning it from the beginning. Operative Choi Seol-gi received the battle updates on her communication device while hiding on a Council supply station. Her team had planted explosives throughout the facility. When it exploded, 3 Council fleets would be left without fuel or ammunition. The main battle is going well, she told her team. Time to do our part. The explosion lit up the night on 17 worlds. The Galactic Council's supply network, built over thousands of years, was collapsing in a matter of hours. Back in the Sol system, War Master Grexvol made the hardest decision of his military career. All ships retreat immediately, but the humans were not finished with them. As the surviving Council ships tried to escape, they found their path blocked by more human vessels that had been waiting in the outer system. Admiral Han Kiwu, now commanding a battle group of 200 ships, appeared on Grexvol's communication screen. War Master, you came here to destroy our home. You failed. Your fleet is broken. Your empire is in rebellion. This is your last chance to surrender. Grexvol looked around his damaged bridge. Half his fleet was gone. The rest were crippled. Across the galaxy, the Council's power was crumbling as species after species rose up against their oppressors. What do you want? He asked. We want what we have always wanted, Han Kiwu replied, to be left alone. But since that is no longer possible, we will accept your unconditional surrender and the dissolution of the Galactic Council. You cannot rule the galaxy. You are still a young species. We do not want to rule anyone, said Han Kiwu. We want every species to rule themselves. The age of the Council is over. The age of freedom begins now. 1 year after the fall of the Galactic Council, Admiral Li Wanshik stood on the bridge of his flagship as it approached the former Council capital. The massive space station that had once been the center of galactic power was now surrounded by ships from dozens of different species. Impressive sight, said his second-in-command, Captain Kim Dae-hyung. 6 months ago, only Council ships were allowed near this station. 6 months ago, most of these species were slaves, Li Wanshik replied. Now they are our partners. The Terra Accord had been signed by representatives of 137 species. It was a simple document that promised one thing. No species would rule over another. Every world would govern itself. Every race would choose its own destiny. Diplomat Han Soo-young was already at the station, working with the new Galactic Assembly. Her job was much harder than fighting the Council had been. Building peace required more patience than winning war. The Zelani delegation is concerned about mining rights in their home system, she reported during the daily briefing. The Vorthak refugees need resettlement assistance. The Korath want protection from pirates who are attacking their trade routes. President Kang Ji-hoon rubbed his tired eyes. Leading Earth through a war had been difficult. Leading a new galactic civilization was proving nearly impossible. How many species have requested human military assistance this month? He asked. 43, replied Defense Minister Park Young-ho. Everyone seems to think we can solve their problems. Can we? Not without becoming the very thing we fought against, Park replied. If we start acting like galactic police, we will end up ruling through force just like the Council did. This was the great challenge humanity faced. They had liberated the galaxy, but freedom was messy and complicated. Some species used their new independence to settle old grudges with their neighbors. Others fell into civil wars. Pirates and criminals took advantage of the chaos. Explorer Captain Park Young-ho was dealing with a different kind of problem. His mission was to investigate the outer rim of the galaxy, beyond the borders of the old Council territory. Sir, you need to see this, said his science officer as they approached an unexplored system. The scanner showed massive structures floating in space. They were clearly artificial, but they did not match any known technology. Most disturbing, they appeared to be weapons pointed toward the center of the galaxy. How old are these? Captain Park asked. At least 10,000 years. Maybe older. They were built by someone with technology far beyond anything we have ever seen. Captain Park felt a chill run down his spine. Send a priority message to Earth. We may have found the real reason the Council was so desperate for those quantum crystals. On Earth, Dr. Lee Ji-young was studying the message from Captain Park's expedition. The images showed weapon platforms the size of moons all pointing toward the inhabited galaxy. What do you think they are? Asked President Kang. Defenses, she replied. Or weapons. Maybe both. Someone built these things to either keep something out of our galaxy or to keep something in. The Council never mentioned anything like this. The Council may not have known about them. Their territory never extended this far into the outer rim. More disturbing news was coming from other exploration missions. Ancient structures found on dead worlds. Signs of massive battles fought millions of years ago. evidence that the galaxy had faced threats before, threats that had required incredible weapons to defeat. Commander Odejuan, now head of Galactic Intelligence, brought the most troubling report of all. "We have been analyzing Council records more carefully," he said. "There are gaps, large periods of time where no records exist, almost like someone erased parts of their history." "Why would they do that?" asked President Kang. "Maybe they did not do it," O replied. "Maybe someone else did it for them." On the former Council capital, the Galactic Assembly was facing its first major crisis. The Vorthak military, defeated but not destroyed, had gathered near the edge of known space. They were building new ships and recruiting allies from species that resented humanity's growing influence. Former War Master Grexval has declared the formation of a new council, reported Diplomat Han Soo-young. He claims humanity is too young to lead the galaxy safely. "How many ships does he have?" asked Admiral Lee Wonshik. "Nearly 1,000. Many of them built with stolen human technology." The irony was bitter. Humanity had shared its technology freely with other species to help them defend themselves. Now some of those same weapons were being turned against them. But the most serious challenge came from an unexpected source: humanity itself. Admiral Chen Minho commanded the 3rd Human Fleet, stationed near the galactic core. His ships were among the most advanced in the galaxy, equipped with the latest quantum weapons and shield technology. "The assembly is weak," he told his officers during a closed meeting. "They talk and debate while pirates raid innocent worlds. They negotiate while slavers rebuild their operations. Someone needs to restore order." "What are you suggesting, Admiral?" asked his tactical officer. "I am suggesting that humanity has the power to bring peace to the galaxy. Real peace, enforced by superior firepower." Word of Admiral Chen's growing rebellion reached Earth through Operative Choi Sulgi's intelligence network. She had spent the past year building connections across the galaxy, and those connections were now reporting disturbing news. "Chen has been recruiting followers from other species," she reported. "Many of them see him as a strong leader who can restore stability." President Kang felt sick. "We defeated the Council only to face the same threat from our own people." "Power corrupts," said Dr. Lee Ji-young. "Even good people can convince themselves that ruling others is for the greater good." The crisis came to a head when Admiral Chen's fleet moved toward the galactic capital. His message was broadcast across all known space. "Citizens of the galaxy, the Terra Accord has failed. Chaos spreads while the assembly debates. Pirates grow bold while diplomats talk. This ends now. I am assuming emergency powers to restore order and protect innocent species from those who would harm them." Admiral Lee Wonshik's fleet moved to intercept. The thought of humans fighting humans while the galaxy watched was almost too terrible to consider. "Admiral Chen, you are ordered to stand down," he broadcast on all frequencies. "Admiral Lee, you are a good soldier, but you do not understand what is at stake. The galaxy needs strong leadership, not endless committees. The galaxy needs freedom, not another dictator." The two fleets faced each other in space, human weapons pointed at human ships. The entire galaxy held its breath. But before the first shot could be fired, Captain Park Young-ho's voice crackled across the communication channels. "All fleets, we have an emergency. Long-range sensors have detected massive objects approaching from outside the galaxy. They are heading directly for the core worlds." The images that followed made both admirals forget their conflict. Ships the size of planets moving in perfect formation. Technology that made even human quantum weapons look primitive. And there were thousands of them. "What are they?" asked Admiral Chen. Captain Park's voice was grim. "Based on their trajectory and the ancient weapon platforms we found, I think they are the real reason the Council was always expanding outward. They were not conquerors. They were refugees running from something even worse." Dr. Lee Ji-young studied the data from her laboratory on Earth. The approaching fleet was unlike anything in their records. The ships generated energy signatures that defied known physics. Their formation suggested intelligence, but not any kind of intelligence the galaxy had ever encountered. "How long until they arrive?" asked President Kang. 2 years, maybe 3, she replied. "But that is assuming they maintain current speed. If they can travel faster than light, they could be here much sooner." The threat from outside changed everything. Admiral Chen's rebellion collapsed as both human fleets united to face the new enemy. The Galactic Assembly put aside its debates to focus on defense. Even the new Council offered to join forces against the approaching danger. But humanity's greatest asset was not their ships or weapons. It was their talent for bringing others together. "We need to contact every species in the galaxy," said President Kang. "Not just our allies, but our enemies too. Whatever is coming, it threatens all of us." The message went out across space, carried by quantum communication networks that connected every inhabited world. For the first time in galactic history, every species worked toward the same goal: survival. Admiral Li Wanshik was given command of the combined Galactic Defense Fleet. Ships from hundreds of species joined together in formations that would have been impossible under the old council. Human tactical doctrine mixed with alien technology and the determination of species fighting for their homes. "Do you think we can win?" asked Captain Kim Dae-hyung. Li Wanshik looked at the tactical display showing thousands of ships from dozens of different species. "I think we can do what humans have always done. We can try." The ancient weapon platforms Captain Park had discovered were reactivated with help from species that had kept fragments of old knowledge. Moon-sized guns that had been silent for millions of years began charging their weapons. As the alien fleet approached the galaxy's edge, humanity prepared for the greatest battle in known history. But they were no longer alone.